So welcome students. Now we are ready to begin, and as always, very happy to see you online, and I'm sure this blended learning will continue. As I carry on, if you have questions, and I would love to have more questions from students, you can talk to me in English, Bengali, Hindi. I speak all three languages, and I can understand Odia also. So if you have questions, please go ahead. Those of you who are from IMC Denkanal, for you it will be more of a refresher course because we already had a 5-day program on data journalism with you. But as you know that none of these things are as teachers we just do not repeat ourselves. This is more on the spot. So let's have as many questions as possible. So, সবাই শুনতে পাচ্ছো? Are you there? Everyone is there, or you're just your mobile phone is there, or you're there personally? Cheshta, Shahini, Sunny, Rahi, Ritesh, Khushbu,
Yes, sir.
Bumpy, Pritinanda, Prashant, Lachi, Sweta. সবাই আছো? You there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So I would want one of our IMC Denkanal students to just talk to other people about what is your idea about data journalism, because rather than apart from me telling you, of course, since I had a long class with you, you must be aware of some of those things. So anyone from IMC Denkanal, would you like to speak for a few minutes, 1 or 2, 3, as long as you want? What is your idea of data journalism? I can see some known faces who were there in our earlier classes. So is there anyone who's willing to talk about data journalism? What is data journalism? Yes, Lalit, please go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening, Lalit. Yeah.
I'm audible, sir?
You are very much. And you can talk in any language, Hindi, English, Bengali, Odia, any language.
Sir, in data journalism, we collect data from different sources. Like if we want to cover a story on health, so we collect health report, and in health report, sir, we collect data from health report and create a story on that. So like अगर कोई रिपोर्ट आती है डिफरेंट सोर्सेज से, कोई रिपोर्ट आती है, लाइक अगर पब्लिक हेल्थ की रिपोर्ट है या फिर क्राइम की रिपोर्ट है, तो वहाँ से क्राइम की रिपोर्ट से हम कोई डेटा कलेक्ट करेंगे, डेटा उठाएंगे और उस पर एक स्टोरी क्रिएट करेंगे जो हम अपने जिस भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए वर्क कर रहे हैं, और उसका जो एक पॉलिसी है उसके अकॉर्डिंग हम एक स्टोरी क्रिएट करेंगे और पब्लिश करेंगे. इस वजह से डेटा जर्नलिज्म इस तरीके से.
Sir, there is an increased role of numerical data in the dissemination of the information.
Okay, thank you, Lalit and Abhishek. Anyone else? Or koi?
And sir, we also create data from different sources. Like अगर कोई रिपोर्ट पब्लिश होती है तो वहां से हम डेटा भी क्रिएट कर सकते हैं. So इस तरीके से.
Okay. So generally, who are our news sources? As a reporter, who are our sources? जब हम कोई भी रिपोर्ट लिखते हैं या प्लान करते हैं तो हमारे सोर्स जनरली कौन होते हैं? This is a general question for everyone. যখন আমরা কোন একটা নিউজ স্টোরি প্ল্যান করি আমাদের সোর্স কারা হয়? Who are our sources?
People.
Okay. Which kind of people?
Sir, it depends on the news story actually. For example, if we're covering crime, then the people include police officers and all, and the number of criminals. And if we are taking on the health related news, then the people include the doctors and nurses.
Wonderful. Anyone else? I would want
if we talk about primary data, it's us. Like we collect the data from different sources, and if it's secondary data, we collect from some records, some books, or some historical pieces.
I'm not asking about data journalism. I'm asking about general journalism. Who are our sources? How do we get news? So as Abhishek said, it could be police officers, it could be medical officers. Who are our sources generally?
Eyewitnesses.
Yes, Pratisha, once again, eyewitnesses. Okay, wonderful. Who else? I want to hear human voices. That's why I'm asking.
Sir, local journalists.
Local journalists could also be wonderful. Wonderful, Nikhil. Anyone else? This is a very general question that if you are a reporter or if you plan to be a reporter, how do you get news stories? So this is a very, very simple question. And I want you to answer that. So all of you are correct. I'm looking for, if you have something more to add. Yes, Pratibha, please go ahead.
So press conferences or interviews.
Bolo Pratibha, please go ahead once again. Press conference, right? So somebody is calling a press conference and is giving out the information. Is that what you're saying, Pratibha?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, interview also.
It could be an interview that you talk to people. What else?
सर अगर कोई पॉलिटिकल बीट है तो उसमें जो गवर्नमेंट की जो ऑफिशियल स्पोक पर्सन होते हैं और वो प्राइमरी सोर्स होते हैं. अगर कोई इंटरनेशनल न्यूज़ है तो वहाँ की जो एक्सटर्नल मिनिस्ट्री होती है वो ऑफिशियल सोर्स होती है. तो वहाँ से हम एक स्टोरी क्रिएट कर सकते हैं जो प्राइमरी सोर्स होता है. अगर कोई वायलेंस हुआ है और वहाँ पे जैसे अभिषेक ने बताया भी कि जो वहाँ के पीपल्स होते हैं अराउंड पीपल्स वो और पुलिस ऑफिसर्स ये प्राइमरी सोर्स होते हैं.
Wonderful. So basically, what you are saying is that generally हमारे sources people होते हैं, right? And most often those sources are officials. ज़्यादातर हमारे sources official sources होते हैं. You agree with this, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Apart from Lalit, others, do you understand my question?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, Rahi, you're saying something?
No, sir, I understood.
So our sources are generally official sources. What is the reason that we have official sources? Because there is some kind of an accountability. That particular person can be held accountable for the information. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. And we know that, most of the time. So a good reporter would be one who has very good sources of information. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
A reporter is as good as his sources. Am I clear about that? Am I audible? No, yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I am audible. Wonderful. So a reporter is as good as his sources. But do we accept information from everyone?
No,
It should
sir.
be a trustable source.
It should be a trustable source. Wonderful, wonderful. बहुत बढ़िया. So we are coming to the point. What are the characteristics of the sources? क्यों हम उनसे न्यूज़ लेंगे? उनके कुछ কিছু তার বৈশিষ্ট্য থাকবে, তাই না? সবাই তো খবর দিলে সেটা খবর হবে না বা ছাপাও হবে না. Am I clear?
These sources should have a good reputation.
I as a journalist am always asking questions that why is that person giving me that news? What does he have at stake? Is it something that can be verified? Right? As humans, and probably Indians more so than others, we can be given to hyperbole. We see something small and we try and portray it as something very big. We do that, isn't it? Or a lot of people can do that. So we must be very clear about what these sources have to say. Now, because of the digital infrastructure, any idea about how much digital data is there in the entire planet? Can anyone Google and find out and tell me right away? How much digital information is available on the planet right now? And another question,
Sir,
what
it's
do you,
33 trillion gigabytes.
probably more than that. So it could be, if you search more, you'll get that. It's probably more than 45 or even more than that. But they're all kind of they're all estimates. So we have lots and lots of data. So we have trillion means lakh crore. So we have about 45 lakh crore gigabytes of data, digital data available to us. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
And that is known as exabytes. So lots and lots of information is available digitally. Even this particular meeting is being recorded, and this will also be available digitally. Any idea about what is digital?
Sir, the information expressed through 0 and 1.
Information expressed to 0. Anyone else? Shubhrata, digital mane ki hoy bolo to? What is digital?
স্যার ডিজিটাল বলতে ধরেন মানে এখনকার দিনে যেরকম ভাবে ছবি যে ডিজিটাল মিডিয়া সোশ্যাল মিডিয়া থেকে শুরু করে সবকিছুই এটাই আর কি আমার নিজস্ব একটু জানা অভিজ্ঞতা।
Digital মানে হচ্ছে any information can be reduced to 0 and 1. So pictures and videos and documents. Yes, Shuman, please.
सर मैं उड़िया में बोल सकता हूँ या हिंदी में बोलूंगा सर?
Then I'll ask someone to translate it. Please go ahead. But Hindi में better है.
सर हिंदी में बोलो सर मैं मेरे हिसाब से डिजिटल का मतलब अभी मैं मतलब इसका मतलब कोई समझने के लिए चाहिए तो डिजिटल मतलब हम जो कुछ भी हम हमारे मोबाइल के अंदर है मतलब मोबाइल के पास हो जाता है। अब हमें कोई किसी चीज का मतलब जरूरत है तो हम गूगल से सर्च कर लेते हैं, वो डिजिटल हो गया है। और अगर किसी से वीडियो कॉल से बात करता है वो भी डिजिटल के अंदर गया है। मतलब अभी जितने भी लोग हैं जो हम डिजिटल दुनिया में ही चल रहे हैं।
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Shuman. हर किताब, हर मूवी सब कुछ डिजिटल फॉर्मेट में है। RRR मूवी भी डिजिटल फॉर्मेट में है। ये हमारे मैक्वेल का किताब भी डिजिटल फॉर्मेट में है। नेशनल फैमिली हेल्थ सर्वे डेटा भी डिजिटल फॉर्मेट में है। So lots and lots of data is available on the internet in the digital format, right?
जी सर।
So the problem is not about information itself. The problem is about how to get information or what information to get from the digital ecosystem. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Why is data journalism important? Number one, there is so much of digital data which is out there available in the open. Agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes sir, yes sir.
और मैं इसको चैट बॉक्स में लिखता हूँ. That data can be structured and the data can also be unstructured. There was a time when all this data had to be taken from somebody. You have to talk to someone, somebody would tell you over the phone, or somebody would write to you, fax it to you, or whatever. I'm talking about the pre-computer age. That is when information was scarce. Now the information is huge. As Suman so rightly said, that you just need to type google.com and then you get almost everything at your fingertips. Am I clear about that?
जी सर।
ये सबको बात क्लियर हो गई. सो एक सबसे बड़ा बात ये है कि अभी ज्यादातर इंफॉर्मेशन डिजिटल फॉर्मेट में अवेलेबल है and I can use it, or if I know how to get information from there, that information can be structured. Structure का मतलब होता है, yes Suman please.
सर आपने जो बोला जो डिजिटल फॉर्मेट, जैसे कि हम पहले मतलब पहले जो हाथ में लिख कर देते थे, कोई एप्लीकेशन हो किसी का लिस्ट हो, लेकिन अभी क्या वो वर्ड में टाइप कर लेते हैं फिर पीडीएफ बना के उसको भेज देते हैं.
वंडरफुल. सो अभी आप इसको गूगल डॉक पर डाल देते हो और गूगल डॉक में आपका कोई फ्रेंड उसको फिर एडिट भी कर सकता है बैठ के, है ना?
जी सर. हाँ सर.
तो
उसको सर अगर डिजिटल में वो अगर वो भी नहीं होगा तो पीडीएफ को वो वर्ड में कन्वर्ट कर सकता है, कन्वर्ट करके वो भी एडिट कर सकता है, वो भी डिजिटल के एक पार्ट हो सकता है.
वंडरफुल. तो all this information is available digitally. Not just this, almost every information is available digitally, and it can be structured, it can be unstructured. If the information is in a tabular form, rows or columns, हम tabular form भी दिखाएंगे और दूसरे forms भी दिखाएंगे. So if it is available in a tabular form, it is known as structured data. If it is available as a tweet, as a website, as other documents, it is unstructured data. So ये data available है, हर चीज के बारे में available है. Because of technology, because of legal things, because of how the world is these days, much of the information is available digitally. That is why, as a journalist, I should know how to access that. कि करे सेटा access करबो, कैसे हम उसको access करें, फिर उस data को हम कैसे analyze करें और फिर उसको हम कैसे उसमें से story निकाल कर present करें. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
কি করে access করবো সেই data? How do I access that? How do I analyze that, and how do I present that? And basically analysis में कैसे हम उससे story निकालते हैं. तो ये तो एक तरीका है, because you know that all this data is available in the digital format. The other thing is that we are able to provide evidence to our readers. जब भी आप कोई story पढ़ते हो तो वहां पर evidence आपको क्या मिलता है? Whenever as a reader you read any news story, what is the evidence that you get whether the story is correct or not? What is the evidence for you there?
Sir, it's the quote.
Quote. Wonderful. বাকিরা বুঝতে পারছো কি বলতে চাইছি?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
Evidence কি থাকে? What is the evidence? Somebody has said something. है ना? You are quoting somebody, that the police superintendent said this, the district political party chief said this, or you know, IMC Denkanal student said this, or Press Club Kolkata person said it, or whatever. So somebody is saying something. So your main evidence for people is the quotes or the anecdotes that you're providing. Or if you are viewing something, generally as journalists, we might not be present at the spot. We are not always present at the spot. I'm sure you understand that particular part, right? हम तो spot पर बहुत कम रहेंगे. Generally, it is reported speech. Am I clear about that? Unless, of course, you are someone like Shaktiman that you can fly down to wherever something is happening. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
So basically, we are talking about reported speech. And when we are talking about reported speech, we are quoting somebody. But if I can add data to that particular story, that will be an evidence which is verifiable. If I say that child marriage is on the rise, as said by the social activist Mr. ABC, whatever, that is a quote. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But if I say that the Census of India or the National Crime Record Bureau of India or whatever, this particular statistics, they are saying that child marriage was at this position and it has come at this position. That is when it will be more of a verifiable evidence. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. So that is why data is so important. That is why as journalists, we need to know what is data journalism. I just gave you two reasons. There are many, many more reasons. One I said was that because all that information is available digitally, I can very easily find out where that information is. Secondly, I also can provide the evidence for readers to find out information from. And as I said to you in the first class itself, that data can be used as a tool and data can also be used as a source. I've just written that on your chat box. Can you explain what this means? I will go to a PowerPoint presentation and I will demonstrate one pivot table also to you. But before that, I want you to have this discussion. So what do I mean when I say that data can be used as a tool and data can be used as a source? मतलब क्या है?
Sir, data can be used as a tool while writing the story, and data can also be used as a source. I mean, we can mention that this and this data says that, so it can be also be used as a source.
Yes, Sharmila?
Sir, by looking at the data, we can figure out different trends of that particular data. Like in this month, it was high rise, and from last years, it has increased. So this can become altogether a story for us. Hence, data is a source. That's why.
Wonderful, wonderful. So just if I know certain things, that whether it has gone high or whether it has gone low or whatever, I can use it to think about story ideas as well. Wonderful. Anyone else? Yes, Sharmila, please go ahead.
So even when data is not available, I guess at that time also it becomes a story. Like if a department has failed to upload data of a particular year, month, then also it becomes a story.
Wonderful, wonderful. So when the National Family Health Survey data was released, the fact that the data is released is a story, and what are the main contours of that, that is also a story. But please try and understand that as human beings, we are not very keen at looking at things which only impact our left part of the brain. Can anyone explain me what is the difference between the right and the left part of the brain?
Sir, the left part of the brain is the logical part, it's the analytical part, and the right brain is connected with more of feelings.
Emotions. Wonderful, Abhishek. So are you a neuroscientist?
No, sir, no. I just read about psychology on the internet.
Wonderful, wonderful. God bless you. So can you just explain? हमारा जो left part of the brain है, ये ज़्यादा rational चीजें ढूंढता है. You know, it is looking for logic, it is looking for reason, it is looking for numbers, it is looking for those kind of. The right part of the brain is one which is looking at emotions. When we feel sad or when we feel happy or these kind of things. So we have this left brain and the right brain. If I put in too much of statistics in any news story and if I put that in the headline, will people like to read that? Most people may not like to read a story about numbers. Am I clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because by nature, अरे भाई इतना story, इतना number, इतना lakh crores, it does not matter to me. So ultimately, the story has to be about a human being. And I will share 2 or 3 YouTube links with you. One is known as the narrative engagement theory. If I speak to you or if I talk to, explain somebody to something to somebody, I can do it in a didactic way. I can just explain, as a teacher, I can just tell them this should be done, or you should do this, or you should not do that, and so on and so forth. The other is the narrative way, the storytelling way. I put someone as a model and let him or her say the story. Rather than giving out these plain figures, I bring out a person who exemplifies those figures and let him or her say that, and then I come to the data. Does it make sense? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
That instead of saying that child marriage is on the rise, I bring out the story of a person or a family in which there has been, of course, with all the restrictions of ethical reporting, I might not even reveal the identity. I bring that individual story of the trouble, of the reason, and so on and so forth, and then I come to the hard data. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Or if I'm talking about malnutrition, or if I'm talking about mortality, or if I'm talking of accidents, or if I'm talking of any other thing, I am going to first of all tell it in a storytelling manner so that people find it impactful. We remember stories which we identify with, which impact our right part of the brain more. Something that which we can identify with. Something which I think that should be something that should be solved. So that is what I do as a storyteller, that I impact more of my right side of the brain. So before I start that particular slide presentation, very quickly, let me just are these things clear to everyone, that why is data journalism important?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And why is what are the ways in which we can tell the story? So we are aware of all those kind of things. I am not going to deal a lot with storytelling because probably that is not. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
So this is something that I will come back to in a moment's time. But before that, just let me talk about some, the starting point. That where do I access data? Data kahan par hai? And many of you are aware of this particular thing. So let me just straightway go to that particular. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
And last time I think I made you, go to one of those public data explorer or the first two. Can anyone just see how it works? Can anyone search for public data explorer or Google dataset search? I have, I don't know whether I have shared that with ANSI students earlier, but I have created that data set of 60 different, I've created that repository of 60 different data sets, and I'll share it with you again today. Can anyone search the first two, Google Public Data Explorer or Google Dataset Search? Can anyone search that?
Yes, sir. I have searched it.
So can you just share the screen for others?
Sir, I'm logged into different device and I'm searching it on different device. Sir, 1 second.
Anyone else apart from Abhishek? I heard another voice.
Yes, I'm sharing. I also clicked on the website of Google as well.
Okay.
So should I share?
Yeah, please do.
So is it visible now? So is it visible now? Okay. So this was the link where I clicked.
So you are seeing that Public Data Explorer. Can other students see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Apart from Abhishek and Lalit, bakira shobai dekhte পারছেন?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
হ্যাঁ স্যার
Data কোথায় পাবো সেটা একটা আমি দেখালাম Google Public Data Explorer. What I have done is I have created a repository of 60 different data sets. So I am copying that on your chat box and see whether you can see that. This is for everyone and especially from the students who are doing it for the first time. Can you please see whether this works? Thank you, Sharmila, for sharing that. So I'll share that PPT with you all, and you can see that again as well.
Sir.
So can you see this particular data set that I have shared? Anyone who hasn't shared earlier? You all are there, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We are
Yes,
here.
sir. Yes, sir.
So do you see, can you see that data set?
Yes, sir.
So Rahi, can you share? Rahi, can you share that? Mampi or Rahi or anyone? Okay, Abhishek. So if you, yeah.
1 second, sir. Yeah, sir. This is what's coming in.
It was there and has gone back. Yeah, wonderful. So if you click on open government data, for example, there's a link there. Shall I take a link to my page?
Sorry, sir. I can't hear you properly. 1 second. Maybe I have to switch off my mic. So 1 second.
Can everyone access this data set?
Yes, sir.
Everyone
yes sir
can access
Yes,
that data.
sir.
And do these links work For example, the RBI dataset link or open government
Yes,
data.
sir. Yes, sir.
So can you just scroll down and just see, what are. So what I have done is that I have taken these official places. Yeah, this is the database of Indian economy. And there you can say, the national fact sheet, CSO, branch, many different things that, so we first have a question that we want to answer. As a journalist, I'm looking for certain areas and where do we go? So what I've done is I've compiled the 60 data set link so that you can just use it for your stories. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
So just see what are the things that you get there. So you can you just come to the home page and just scroll down, Abhishek? I think you'll have to go to the earlier tab because the link has been set as if, yeah. So that is the Manrega link, which provides, if you click that link, see what you get there. $30. Whichever state, you can click Bengal. Oh, whatever. Bengal is the last. Okay. So you get all those beneficiary details. You get all these kind of details there. So the fact is that we should know where to get data from. With you all, I had shared one Google Power Search link. Do you remember, IMC students? How to do Power Search on Google? Do you remember that? Am I audible? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
If you don't respond, then I have to start looking at my Wi-Fi or my hotspot and all these. So what I have done is I have compiled this data set. So let me just share the data set. You can stop sharing, Abhishek. So this is about the Manrega. Can you see that? Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
and this is about the open government data. If you click on to open government data, you'll come to. Can you see this open government data here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So they have lots and lots of data about pin code directly or things like that, and you have youth and sports and judiciary and this and some of these are downloadable as CSV files and so on and so forth. At certain places you might need to register and all that, but it's there. So all these things are clickable, as you can see that. Can you see this? This is clickable. All these links are clickable. You can click and find out about water resources. This is about NFHS, and I will demonstrate one NFHS data with you over here. This is open just budgets. So if budgets don't make a lot of sense to you, you can just click onto this open budgets. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Open Union Budget Explorer. So I don't have time to go on to all these things in details, but you can have state budget and district budget and municipal corporation budget and all that in this particular budget. So whenever I'm doing a story, and if I provide these kind of inputs, you can understand that the quality of the story will be outstanding. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
বলো সুব্রত আরেকবার বলো
হ্যাঁ স্যার
পেছন থেকে কিছু বলছো না তুমি কিছু বলছো whatever.
না স্যার আমি বললাম হ্যাঁ বুঝতে পারলাম ওগুলো পেলাম।
বুঝতে পারলো না না বুঝতে পারছো কি বুঝতে পারিনি আমি?
হ্যাঁ স্যার বুঝতে পেরেছি।
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you, thank you. So as you can see, there is also a data on missing women and children. There is one on Justice Hub. So if I just have to talk about these data sets, you know, I'll end more than 2 hours, but I don't want to go into that. I have shared the link. I want you all to explore that. And yes, Jagatpati, please. Jagatpati Goran, your hand is raised. You want to say something?
No, sir.
Okay, okay. मैंने आपका हाथ देखा. I could see your hands. It's still raised. Okay, so I want you to explore these data sets so that you can understand. There is also the medical certification of cause of death. There is mandatory vaccination data. There is this UD's data, which is about education. ACER data is a wonderful data set on, you know, student ability. So a class 5 student, whether he can read or write and so on and so forth. There is this CMI data, which is about Indian economy. This is socio-economic data. This is India's export-import, income tax, petrol pump. Can you imagine? Vehicle registrations, which state, which country, etc. So whenever I have anything to do, just by looking at these stories, livestock census, this is about kind of an animal census, interstate migration, mango database. Can you see all these things?
Yes, sir.
So basically, I have collected all this data set. This is like, you know, kind of putting it at one place. But you will have to do that yourself when you are, you know, kind of doing a Google search. And I had shared YouTube on Google Power Search, if you remember. Do you remember that Google Power Search thing that I had shared with you? Yes or no? Do you remember or you don't remember? अरे भाई कुछ तो बोलो. You don't remember, right?
Yes, particularly I don't remember.
No problem. I will find out.
Sir, partially I remember. Sir, it's about searching more specifically.
Okay. Okay. So what I'll do is I had created a YouTube video long time back. Let me see whether I can find that, and I'll share that with you. How to Google search like a pro. So you can watch that later. I'll just share the link with you, right? Shall I, or you don't want it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir, please.
Okay, wonderful. Who said yes, sir?
Sir,
Now after that.
Lalit, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so because Nandita said yes, sir, I have shared that on the chat box. You don't have to watch that now. I will ask my colleague Manushri and Devan to share it with you on your email later on as well. So this is one way in which where to search data. So the first part of data journalism is accessing data. Is this part clear to everyone?
yes, sir.
Everyone. Where to access data, and there are many different ways of accessing data. One is the data set compilation that I have done. The second is you must I showed you Google Public Data Explorer. Then you must know where to get, you know, maybe a census data or government data or you know other kind of data. So after I access data, there are certain questions that I spoke of right at the beginning that we must ask these questions from the data itself. And those questions are something that I need to ponder upon. So these are the questions that we must ask. Because internet can have any data. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Visible.
Haji? What
Yes.
can you read? What is there on the screen?
Who collected the data?
Who collected the data? So that is very important. Whether it's a government agency, whether it is a political party, whether it is a international agency, whether it's a fake agency. So who collected is very, very important. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
If a tobacco company has collected the data and is telling me that cigarette smoking is not bad for health, am I going to take that at face value?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Absolutely not. And we have, so as journalists, we do ask that question that who is it that was collected the data. Then the second question is also important, is about who owns the data. Thirdly, very importantly, how was the data collected? Why is this important?
So that
Sir,
the
we need to
audience
know
can
how-
Yeah, Abhishek, let Rahi speak and then I'll come to you. Yes, Rahi, please.
So we need to know the sources are reliable or not, and from where we have collected and how it has been collected, so that we can rely on the source.
So why is how important? That's what I'm asking you. Yes, Abhishek.
yes, sir. I was saying that it builds a trust between the reader and the journalist.
So what are the ways in which data can be collected?
The primary and the secondary data collection.
No, but still, I mean, what does that mean? How do I collect it?
So if I collect it by one person, if I collected from some eyewitness or something, it will be a primary data which can be more reliable than if it's like collected from some other sources, some secondary sources.
So if somebody else has collected it, we'll find out how did he or she collect it, right?
Right, sir.
So is it through an online poll? Is
Yes,
it
sir, by doing surveys and
wonderful? So if
sir,
so, a very quick question: how many of you heard of something called survivor bias? ये word किसी ने सुना है?
No, sir. I didn't hear.
Okay, so please listen to me very carefully. This is very interesting. In World War One, when certain planes used to return to the hangar, the generals, they would see that plane में कहाँ पर bullet marks हैं. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
तो वो देखते थे where are the bullet marks. Some of the military generals, they said that जहाँ जहाँ ये bullet marks है, यहाँ पर ये plane weak है. यहाँ पर हमको ज्यादा iron या ज्यादा steel देना चाहिए. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
ये तो बड़ा simple common sense है. लेकिन एक इंजीनियर साहब था, उन्होंने बताया no, this is where the plane is strong. The reason is कि ये plane लौट कर आ पाया, उसको दूसरे किसी जगह अगर बुलेट लगा होता तो वो प्लेन वहीं पर गिर जाता and this might not have come. Am I clear about what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Yes, sir.
आप जहां पर देख रहे हो वो तो बुलेट मार्क्स है, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी वो बच गया. It has survived. बाकी उसके टेल में लगा, नोज में लगा, कहां पर लगा वो हमें पता भी नहीं है. So they are the ones which are more prone to danger. So we must kind of make those places more stronger. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I can see 76 students here. अगर मैं आप लोगों से पूछूं कि ऑनलाइन क्लास में आपको कोई दिक्कत है, ज्यादातर लोग बोलेंगे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. Am I clear about that? क्योंकि आप ऑनलाइन हो, you are there, आपको कोई दिक्कत तो है नहीं. That's why you are online.
Yes, sir.
Most of you will say that okay, online is good. I don't have too much of problem. Apart from the fact that most of our teachers are boring and they don't talk sense and those things, but they are, otherwise I don't have a problem, right?
No, sir.
Okay, but generally you will say that that ज्यादा problem नहीं है. लेकिन हमने उन लोगों से पूछा जो ऑलरेडी ऑनलाइन है. Am I clear? हमने उन बच्चों से बात ही नहीं किया जो ऑनलाइन आ भी नहीं सके. So there is a survivor bias. I'm only talking to one section, people who have survived that. If I'm talking to you about, अब में से कितने लोगों ने graduation पढ़ा, everyone will say हमने graduation पढ़ा. That is why you're there in post-graduation bias. Yeah? I can't say that 100% of our students in the country, they are all postgraduates. Can I say that? Because if I only talk to postgraduate students, of course they're. So this bias is always there. If you already are very close, if you understand English and Hindi, and if I ask you that आपको English में कोई दिक्कत तो नहीं, आप बोलेंगे नहीं है, because you already understand that. But am I talking to people, all kinds of people? I'm not. So there are so many biases. Then there is another bias which is known as social desirability bias. क्या आपने सुना है? नहीं सुना है?
Sir, can you please repeat the term?
I will write the term. Social desirability bias. Can you see that on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Everyone? Can you see that on your chat box?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
अगर मैं बच्चों से पूछूं, and because we are in an Indian context, by how many of you do actually smoke? Nobody will come out and say that I smoke. Most of you. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Because you think that might not be a socially desirable answer. Or you might not want to say that out in the open. Am I clear, Nandita? Do you understand now?
Yes, sir.
तो बहुत बार हम ऐसे उत्तर देते हैं जो हमें लगता है कि ये उत्तर सही होगा. इसी वजह से हमारे ओपिनियन पोल और एग्जिट पोल ज्यादातर काम नहीं करते हैं. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
हम देख लेते हैं भाई ये बंदा इसको कैसा आंसर चाहिए, उसको वैसा ही आंसर हम देते हैं. Agree with that? সবাই বুঝতে পারছো এটা বোঝা যাচ্ছে? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that is why how was the data collected is very very important. Secondly, ये भी बड़ा important है इसके बाद वाला question. What is it?
Sample size.
Sample size. So if it is so whether I can generalize, हम कोई सर्वे कर रहे हैं या हम पूरे पॉपुलेशन पर एक्सट्रापोलेट करके जनरलाइज कर सकते हैं, नहीं कर सकते हैं, राइट?
Yes, sir.
And that can happen only if I have a decent sample size. 30-40 लोगों से बात करके तो हम पूरे हजारों लोगों के बारे में नहीं बोल सकते. Am I clear?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
So there are many questions that we ask of the data before we accept the data. And we have already discussed what are, how do we access data, but this is another very important question. In internet where बहुत सारे data, बहुत खराब data हो सकते हैं. So I must ask these questions just like I ask from the news sources. भाई ये क्यों बता रहा है, उसकी क्या जरूरत है, right?
Yes, sir.
We ask these same questions. When was the data collected? बड़ा important question है.
Yes, sir. The data should be recent.
Even if it is not recent, then the context is there. अगर कोई 2019 का डेटा है तो वो प्री कोविड डेटा है, उसका कॉन्टेक्स्ट दूसरा है.
Yes, sir.
Everyone clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. इसके बाद का क्वेश्चन भी इंपॉर्टेंट है. वो क्या है? When was the data last updated? 10 साल पहले अपडेट हुआ है. कौन सा डेटा? 11 साल पहले. कौन सा ऐसा डेटा है जो 11 साल पहले अपडेट हुआ था?
Literacy rate, sir.
Census.
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 है ना?
2011.
Yes, and we know the reason why census data is old. But अगर अभी हमको पॉपुलेशन के बारे में जानकारी करनी है तो कहां से करेंगे? आधार के जो हमारे वो है, that is that United what is that? What is the Aadhaar authority known as? Unique Identification Authority of India, UIDAI data से हम वो compare करेंगे. Anyway, that is not the question. So these are the questions that I must ask the data set. So we have completed the accessing data part. question? Any question in that? Any question about that?
No, sir.
Accessing data. We are over with accessing data part. So let us now talk about the other part. अब data तो मिल गया, उसे analyze करके उसमें से story कैसे निकालेंगे. Agree with this part?
Yes, sir.
And are you okay with the data set link that I shared with you? সবাই ওই data set লিংকটা সবাই দেখতে পেরেছো?
Yes, sir.
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
সবাই একটু বলো, 3-4 জনই বলছে বাকি।
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
হ্যাঁ স্যার দেখতে পেয়েছি।
Wonderful. তো এটা আমরা ডেটা একটা জায়গায় পাচ্ছি। এবার ডেটা সেট তো পেলাম, টেবলস থেকে কি করে স্টোরি হবে সেটাও বলবো, কিন্তু কি স্টোরি হবে? What are the kind of stories that I can get? So let's talk about that. Do you understand what we are going to talk now?
Yes, sir.
কি স্টোরি হবে?
Wonderful. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
বলো, এটার মানে বলো আমাকে। বলো, এক একটা করে বলো। Tell me one by one.
ফুল পিকচার মানে পুরো ছবিটা যেটা।
Absolutely. Literacy rate 75%. That tells me the full picture. Am I clear? This vaccination data eto crores and so on. So with data I can give the full picture. Am I clear about that?
Right, yes.
Second is about percentage of proportion. What about that? How much percentage of the population is left, or how much proportion has been done, or how much of them are lacking, or this or that or that. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Internal comparison and external comparison. So comparison is very important. When I get any data, and as I said, I will share the national NFHS data. I will just show on the screen for you in a moment's time. जब हमारे पास पूरा पिक्चर होता है, हम उसको कंपेयर करते हैं, नेशनल एवरेज से ज्यादा है या कम है? Am I clear?
No, sir.
So we try to compare that whether it is more than national average, less than national average, whether it is more than a neighboring state, whether it is less than a neighboring state, whether it is more than a district, less than a district, so on and so forth. So data allows me to compare that on this Delhi is good, on this Bengal is good, on this Odisha is good, and so on and so forth. So we can compare. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Other thing that we can do is we can find out how it has changed over time. 2000 কত ছিল, 2005 কত হয়েছিল, 10 কত হয়েছে, we can see whether it is going up or going down. The performance of students in a particular university over time, whether that has gone up or gone down. The amount of placement, whether it has gone up or down. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But এই মানে ইন্টারনাল কম্পারিজনটা কি শুধুমাত্র কান্ট্রির মধ্যে, মানে এই জেলা এক জেলার সাথে আরেক জেলা, আর এক্সটার্নাল
নিজের সাথেও হতে পারে, নিজের সাথে আগে কোথায় ছিলাম এখন কোথায় এসেছি।
আচ্ছা,
নিজের সাথে, আর এক্সটার্নাল মানে অন্য জেলা বা অন্য শহর। Very good question. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
League tables, IPL এর মতো, you just have those tables and you say that who's doing what. Analysis by categories and association. Association is also very, very, very important. As journalists, we must always try and associate it with certain events, or we must see that whether that correlation is there or not. But I have something more to say, so I'll just skip this one and go to this one. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
What about this? এটার মানে কি? Best kara or সবথেকে খারাপ kara? When I have any data set, I will try and find out that who are doing very well, who are doing very bad. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
So we try and put out about the top of the pops or top of the flops. Whether it is a freak occurrence or an unusual change, I can also use data to support a claim or to debunk a claim. I can look at data to show trends. Basically, we use data from 3 different areas generally for data set stories. One is education. The other is crime. Third is health. Basically, we are either trying to show trends, or we are trying to show comparisons, or we are trying to show maximum, minimum, or we are trying to show which are the areas which have done good or which are the areas which have done bad. Am I clear about this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Last one key. What is the last one? Things happen together. What does that mean?
So মানে কি দুটো ঘটনা একসাথে হচ্ছে এরকম কিছু?
Yes. আমরা vaccination দিচ্ছি, তারপরে দেখছি লোকেরা বেশি বাইরে আসছে. So if I can see these correlations, am I clear about correlations?
Yes, sir.
If I can show that students who spend more hours on online classes, they are performing well. If I can show that, then that will be a very good association story. Am I clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Students who go out of their state to study, they end up getting better jobs. If I can show something like these associations. Because this is interesting. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. So this is about analysis. আমি কিভাবে analyze করে আমি কিভাবে story বার করব. Okay? বুঝে গেল?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
মানে আমার কাছে এইরকম টেবিলার ফর্মে ডেটা আছে, আমি ডেটা থেকে কিভাবে স্টোরি বার করব, এগুলো বোঝা গেল? Data itself is not the story. I'll have to make that interesting, and I just shared that with you. Yes, Jagatpati, please. Jagatpati, your hand is always raised. हाथ दर्द करेगा.
Sir, postcode lottery meaning ki?
Okay, wonderful. Is there any particular area which is doing very well? অনেক সময় হয় না যে একটা পার্টিকুলার পোস্ট কোড বা একটা পোস্টাল এরিয়া যেখানে খুব বেশি ভালো কাজ হচ্ছে. So whether I can find something like that. Is that clear? There was a particular place in UP which was known as Saifai, which used to be Mulayam Singh Yadav's own village, and that was doing really very well on many indicators. So when you get certain things like that, we have a story on our hand. বোঝা গেল?
স্যার এরিয়া বলতে কোনো জায়গায় বোঝাচ্ছে না, এরকম বোঝাচ্ছে যে হেলথ
কোনো পার্টিকুলার জায়গা, কোনো পার্টিকুলার জেলা, কোনো পার্টিকুলার গ্রাম, কোনো পার্টিকুলার শহর খুব বেশি ভালো কাজ করছে, তার পেছনে অন্য কোনো পলিটিক্যাল কারণ থাকতে পারে. এই কারণগুলো আমরা জার্নালিস্ট হিসেবে অ্যাজ জার্নালিস্ট हम ये ज्यादा देख सकते हैं. That is why we are doing these kind of stories. Am I clear?
বাট স্যার আমরা পলিটিক্যাল ব্যাপার স্যাপারকে কোয়ান্টিফাই করব কিভাবে?
না,
ওটা ডেটা কনভার্ট করা কিভাবে সম্ভব?
পলিটিক্যাল ব্যাপারটা কোয়ান্টিফাই করছি না, কিন্তু আমি অ্যাসোসিয়েশনটা বলে দিচ্ছি. আমি তিনটে জিনিস বলে দিচ্ছি. দেখো আমি লিখলাম. Please see the chat box. Data is a tool. It is helping me construct this kind of a story. Am I clear?
हाँ सर.
I give the background, I give the significance, I give the context.
हाँ.
Clear? बुझे गया?
Yes, sir.
हाँ सर.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I will and you must be open. Is that the only way of explaining it, or can I explain it in some other ways as well? So we say that we must use data as a scientist, not as an advocate. Advocate মানে lawyer. একজন lawyer সে নিজের পয়েন্টটা প্রুভ করতে যে কোনো ডেটা ইউজ করতে পারে, কিন্তু আমার কাজ হচ্ছে to use data as a scientist to find out the story, to find out the real honest story from there, not just to prove anything, because you might have seen politicians, they can use data to explain anything, right? Am I
Yes.
clear? I will
Yes,
just
sir.
show you. Okay, I will just show you one data set. This is the NFHS data set. Can you see this here? Or shall I zoom it?
Please zoom it a little bit. Yeah.
Can you see this here? So
Yes, sir.
this tells me about these kind of things. As you can see, this is a huge data set, right? Can you see this here? So this is about all the states, and it is there on 131 indicators. There are 131 indicators for each state. So that is why this is such an important data set. And as you can see, this is about NFHS 5, NFHS 4 as well. NFHS 5 is again divided into urban and rural. This is 5 and this is 4. So in India, what is this thing? Female population age 6 years and above who ever attended school. In the NHS FS4 data, it was 68.8. Now it is 71.8. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, for the sex ratio of the total population, this is also getting better. It was 991, it is 1020. So this is about the total figure, as you can understand. But I cannot just look at each column and try and find out. So there are many ways in which I can do that. One of them is by using something which is known as filter. I can filter out any particular state out of that. Say, for example, I just want Bengal here. So I will just select West Bengal. And this gives me figure about West Bengal. Am I clear about that? It gives me some idea about what the NFHS 4 was, what NFHS 5 is. On all these different indicators. And I can look at these things and try and see whether it can be used as a story. This is NFHS 5, this is NFHS 6. What is this about? This is about women married before 18 years. So this is same what it used to be. Men married before 21 years. So this is increased. So this is one indicator which tells me that there is kind of some kind of a child marriage there. Does it make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
So this is very simple thing, just by looking at those kind of things, looking at the subtractions, looking at maximum, looking at minimum, and those kind of things, we can do that. I can remove the filter and I can select all. If I select all, I will get all the different places. Here also I can just select whatever particular indicator I want for the entire country. So here, for example, I can just go to data, I can go to filter. Sorry. Can you see all these things there?
Yes, sir.
Suppose I just want women who are overweight or those kind of things there. NFHS কোথায় পাবো? আমি শেয়ার করেছি তোমাদের সাথে. Have I shared that? What is the indicator here? Okay, let's have something more interesting. Deaths in the last 3 years registered with the civil authority. So I have the NFHS 5 data, I have the NFHS 4, which is not available. So this is a new thing. So certain things they didn't do earlier. Here I can look at maximum and minimum, and then I can find out which are the states or in the country which are showing more deaths, which are showing less deaths, which are doing less than the average. There are various ways in which we can filter that. So let me just use the filter here also. Can you see this on the screen? Can you see this drop down thing on the screen? Is it available, visible? Equals, does not equal, so on and so forth. দেখা যাচ্ছে screen এ?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So I can go for top 10, I can go for above average. Say, for example, I want to go above average. These are the states which have shown, okay, now they are showing for all the things. For that, I will have to go for something which is known as pivot table, but I don't have time to go to pivot tables because we are just 3 minutes available for us. So this is, by putting down into pivot tables, I can just get certain states and certain indicators and so on and so forth. So earlier we used to have to, or we would have to know something called Microsoft Word, but nowadays we also have to be very adept at Microsoft Excel also to help us with the data. Everyone will not need that, but some of us can, of course, learn that so that we can analyze all this. Otherwise, simple, maximum, minimum, and all those things will help. This is not mathematics. This is just plain logic. So this is about analyzing data. The other part is about presentation of data, and for that we just don't have time for that. But I'll just share one very quickly with you. Let me share that with you. Just 1 minute. স্ক্রিনে দেখতে পাচ্ছ এটা? Is this visible on the screen?
হ্যাঁ স্যার দেখতে পাচ্ছি।
Just by looking at these things, I can see that Uttar Pradesh has had the highest growth in population in the last 9 years. Ladakh, in fact, had a degrowth. Its population went back. So this is known as data visualization. This is a very effective way of conveying data information. And of course, as I said, we'll have to use storytelling tools to make sense of it. I have just shared this particular thing on your chat box as well. You can see whether that works. Does it work? Anyone? No one?
So দেখা যাচ্ছে।
দেখা যাচ্ছে, Nandita? Okay. You are from which institute, Nandita?
Sidhu Kanu Birsa University.
Well, wonderful. So you can see that that is one way in which we can present information. So we have told you how to access information, how to analyze or key knowledge story. Of course, I can just give you a snapshot. There are lots and lots of details there. But I've tried to give you an overview about data journalism. Why is data journalism important? And what are the different aspects of it? Does anyone have any question? কারোর কোনো প্রশ্ন আছে? किसी को कुछ पूछना है? So no question in either of the three languages, right? So there are just two links that I want to share with you again before I leave. That I had. There are quite a few videos I've uploaded recently. You can just see that. Does this link work? Can anyone confirm?
Yes, sir, working.
Anyone else? Does the last link work? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is working.
Yes, sir, it's working.
So there are recent videos on what is development journalism and then about the narrative engagement theory and all that. I'm sure you'll find that interesting. So thank you so much for your patience.